Hello guys, melon farming is a very lucrative business actually. Of course, for those of us who do not know what melon really is that seed that is used to cook a popular soup in Africa called Egusi soup. And this is more like the processed one. But it actually starts from here. This is the fruit, and that's what you can see here now on the ground. We are going to be showing us in this video how we can process this to get to this. You know, it will have to pass through this stage. This is the dried melon seed, and this one is what is processed into this. So what we are showing you in this video is how to get the whole process of getting from this to this, and eventually we'll get this. So don't go away. You are going to learn a lot. This is our farm. It's our melon farm. Actually, we did some form of mixed cropping. We have cassava. There's melon here. We've already harvested the maize. Some of them are still there. We've not removed the dried ones. But we want to show you how we harvest our melon. This is about an acre where we planted melon, cassava, and maize. As you can see here, we've started gathering them. They are all dispersed everywhere in the farm. And for those of us that have seen my previous video where I talked about using melon as a cover crop for yam farm, I mentioned a disadvantage, and that disadvantage was the fact that once the vines they dry out, that weed will take over the farm. Now this is actually an example of that. You can see that we've started cutting down some of the weed, but you can still see that weed has taken over everywhere. So the melon, they are no longer there to do any form of cover cropping. That's basically a disadvantage. But today is not for that discussion. Today is for the discussion of how we process melon from this stage of the fruits down to where we have the melon seeds, and of course we process it to make our food, that is the soup. So let's look at how we go about it. Basically, this is a set of melon that we have gathered here. They are all dispersed around. What you do is to actually gather each set in different locations. You cannot gather all of them in one place. You just gather them in different locations. For example, if I go in there now, I see some around there, I will gather around that location. This is one location. Come, let's see another location where we have done some gathering too. These are some other sets. That's another one there. I think we have a few down there. We have up to about 11 of these portions. These are actually the second set. The first set of harvesting that we did. Remember, there was a short video I showed previously. I'll still put the link up there now so that we'll see. This is another set. We normally gather them set by set this way because they are all dispersed all over the farm, and this is the best way to do. So the next stage will be to start cutting them in order for the core, the inside of the melon where the seeds are, to get softened. You understand? So that's basically what we do, and after that we move to the next stage. So this is the stage of gathering them in sets so that we can now cut them, and after we have cut them, we'll also tell you exactly what to do. So let's go to the stage of cutting them so that you see. All right guys, the next stage is to start cutting them. I bet you this stage is not so easy. It's tedious because everything here, one by one, you are going to have to cut them. Imagine this. Let's assume you have up to about 100 of these sets. You will definitely go through by cutting them. So the next time you eat egusi soup, just know that this is the process it goes through, and probably that's why it's pretty expensive, especially these days. So well, let's go ahead. So what you do is just cut. The reason why you do this is that your opening it will give you that opportunity to be soft so that you can now eventually remove the content. But that takes about 8 to 10 days after what I've just done. And another thing you observe, I did not finish cutting it. You can actually just finish cutting it like this. So this is the inside part. If you can see, those are some of the seeds. So eventually there are still plenty more inside. When they are soft, we can now remove them. We'll get to that stage later. So this is it. But I won't cut them completely. The reason is this: you don't want animals like quail or doves to come and pick up all the melon, because they really love melon. So this is the reason why you do this. But even at that, after doing this, sometimes they still end up coming to eat them. So I'll tell us how to overcome that. So I'll keep cutting. All right. You cut and position it well. So no matter how many they are, you have to go through. It's a tedious process, but this is what you have to do. So guys, I've finished cutting. The next thing to prevent quails and doves or other animals from destroying this melon before I eventually remove them from here, I normally would like using tarpaulin or any material that I can use to cover, to just cover them. You know, you cover. This is actually optional if you don't have the problem of I'm trying to protect my investment, but it's optional for you if you don't have these animals that come to devour your crops. So if I do this, the quail, doves, they will not see this to come and destroy. So eventually it will be protected. So this is just my own way of trying to protect what I have. So in about 8 to 10 days, I will come back here and harvest this. But for the purpose of this video, I have ones that are already soft that we have done previously. So let's go there and go and continue the harvest. I'll show you what we do from there. Okay guys, this is the next stage of the processing of the melon. This is the one that we have cut several days ago. Like you can see, it's already soft inside. Those white core you were seeing, there are no more there. So we are going to have to remove all these, then we'll wash them to become what you know to be egusi. I have the privilege to be working with, this is my grandmom. So that's my grandmom, okay. And I have been learning so much from her. She's 91 years old and I'm very privileged to still have her. So most of the things I learned from yam farming, melon and all that, I want to gather as much knowledge from her as possible. So I still have the privilege to have her around. So we're going to be doing this together. So this is it. What you do is you just collect. It's already soft. You see it. There may be some form of smell, but it's not really a big deal. See, you see the melon now. The whole thing is now soft. You just take them and put inside the filter. Okay, see, this is the filter we are going to use to filter all these soft part away. Now, it's just this is the metal part. I mean the metal type of this filter. It has the plastic one too. This is our traditional filter, specially made for melon. So that's how we are going to be doing this. We are going to remove all of them. This remnant part, of course, we'll now use them as compost. So there is actually no loss eventually. Okay, our bucket is relatively full now, so we are going to take it to where we will wash. grandma is taking me. So this segment, this part, yeah, this segment is where grandma normally. So this, just watch what she's going to do now. We're trying to filter everything. You see the liquid coming out, you know. Now, for those who, this one can actually add to the fertility of our soil, of course. And like you can see, you have debris of the remnant of the melon that we have done previously. So this is what we are having here. Of course, this one will serve as compost. For me, that is very keen when it comes to the issue of soil fertility. I love this because this will add to the fertility of my soil. And another thing I also think I can do with this with time, I will experiment on that. I will use this to activate charcoal for biochar. So I will consider that one later. But at least today, this is melon processing that we are doing. All right, so I'll add water. Of course, we'll now put water in to wash up. Okay, grandma said that water is enough. So guys, you see, getting egusi is not okay. See what she's doing to make sure that all the fluid there. So now we have our melon. You can see them, they are all beautiful. So the next stage now will be to go and spread them where we can dry them. So guys, the next stage is to dry the melon that you have washed. So this is what we are doing here. We spread something so that we can have a platform. It can be on a bare floor, but it should be neat. So we spread such that the sun can help us dry it, or if you have any other means of drying. So that is it basically. Sometimes we'll have to do it, we'll have to dry it more than once or twice for it to be completely dried. All right, okay, from this stage we'll move to the next stage to show us the ones that we have already dried. All right guys, this is the ones that we have dried. This full bag is all melon from our farm. So just to have a feel of how it is. So you see that they are now dried. All right, so what is in this bag can fill this whole basin. Let's see. So you can see that we had a bountiful harvest. This is just from about 1 acre. This is the first batch. We still have something like this or even more from this same farm. So as you can see, it's quite massive. It's much. So we still have up to about half. So we'll be having maybe up to about 2 of these, or at least 1.5. All right, this is what we have gotten. For those who plant melon as cover crop, this is the advantage you have over potatoes. This one, you can actually make a whole lot of money from it too, and it will help you cut cost to a very large extent in your yam farm. Now, of course, you don't eat it this way. You can, of course, you want to process it further to something like this. Come closer. This is more like the melon seed that have been processed that you need to make your soup. Well, you'll be wondering, how do we get from here to here? So let me just give us an instance. I want to convert this one now to this. It can be done manually, or you can use machines. But manually, for those of us in Africa, those of us who grew up in the villages, most times we we know how to do this a lot, and let me take us down memory lane. For those who don't, this is how you do it. We call it breaking melon. All right. Some people are very, very proficient in this. So you see, I've removed the chaff. This is the chaff, and this is eventually what I need out of it. So that's how you are going to do this one after the other until you get large quantity of this. Of course, that's tedious, so that's why people just they now use machine. But in my grandmother days, these are the things that we do. And so for some people from Africa, this is one of the stuff we used to pass time then. All right, so you do this. Now there are two ways of doing this. Actually, you can do this and just outrightly separate the chaff from the main stuff, and you'll be adding it to it. Or you can just, so that the process will be fast, you just include both the seed and the chaff. Eventually, at the end of it all, you will now filter the chaff from the main seed by taking it through a blowy wind, so that the wind can separate the chaff from the main stuff. Either way is the same thing, but eventually you do it manually. So guys, that's it. That's how you get from the fruits. We have showed you how you get from the fruits to drying this, and eventually this. The end point of this is the popular Egusi soup. This is the main ingredient for the Egusi soup that you know. So guys, we want to thank you so much for watching, and thank you for all the support so far. You have learned something today, I am very, very sure. So take out time to watch some of our videos that are related to either this melon or other things. God bless.